Hello, everybody. I'm your host, Eric Bird, here at StopStrugglingNow.com. And today we're going to talk about those 5 things that can boost your credit score fast. That's right, you heard me talk about a few of them in the past. But this time we're going to go over all 5 of them so you can understand how you can boost your credit score quickly. And while I'm doing the intros now, don't forget to go get the merch at StopStrugglingNow.com. And you'll see SSN merchandise link. And there's some t-shirts there for you to purchase. So please go there and purchase some merch. So please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. Now, let's get to it. All right, welcome back. Today we're going to go over the 5 ways that your credit score can improve. So here we go. What you see on the screen right now is the actual scale. So you can see some people may have a credit score in the 300s, 400s, 500s. Even though it shows green, you do not want to be in the green. If you're at 580 or less, you probably can't receive certain things like credit cards. Any loans or anything you get is going to cost you a lot of money with interest. Your interest is going to be pretty high. So what you want to do is be on the right side of the scale, over 700, and if you can reach 750 to 850, which means your credit is perfect almost, and you're moving in a positive direction, which means you're covering all the 5 things that you need to cover that we're going to go over shortly. So that's all that this scale is just a way for you to know what you need to make it short and sweet. And most of you have seen these before from my previous talks when we're talking about boosting our credit score. And so therefore what we're going to talk about now is the next slide shows how the buckets are separated. You see 35%, 30%, 15%, 10%, and 10%, which are the 5 ways that your score is improved. And most of the time you guys hear me talk about debt utilization and payment history because that's 65% of your score. And then when you start adding in other factors, you can get to 100%. But those first 2 is the ones I always mention because most people have you need to be under 29% for your debt utilization, and you need your payment history to be 98%, 99%, or 100% to help boost your credit score. And so these are the factors when somebody wants to boost their credit score real fast. You can alter your credit score quickly by using an authorized user trade line because that'll have age, which is 15% of your score, and it'll have payment history. So if you have 5 years of on-time payments and then you got the age of 5 years, that helps boost your credit score because we're talking about 35% plus 15% is 50%, and then when you throw in 30% debt utilization, if it's under 29% and you keep it under there, then your score gets to increase a little bit. So today that's the first 3 things that we're going to talk about. But let's move to our credit score and our credit analysis, where we're going to go over each bucket this time separately. Normally I don't do it like this, but since this is the 5 tips for the day, this is what we're going to talk about today. So breaking down your credit score, as you can see, I'm using this little graph here, and you can see 35%. So we'll go through each step separately. 35% payment history, and just what you see on the screen is how often do you pay your accounts on time. So that's why you need to be at 98, 99, or 100%. That's where you want to be. And you've heard me talk about this before. If you have one account and you miss one payment, your credit score is going to drop substantially because it's 35% of your score. It's going to take you 9-10 months to get back to 98, 99% Contrast that with if you have 10 accounts that report to your credit file and you miss one payment, you'll still be at 90%, and you'll be back to 98, 99% if you pay all of your accounts on time for the next 2 months. Your third month you'll be back up to 98%, which means now you can get back the amount of points that you lost. So that's one of the first factors, and as you can see, that's 35% of your score. And a lot of people say, why does my score get reduced so much when I miss a payment? It's because that's 35% of your score. That's over a third out of 100%. So you can imagine if you have a score of 700 and you miss a payment, you could see where you would lose 50, 60, 70 points, potentially even 100 points off your credit score for that one-time missed payment. Even if you paid for 4 years in a row, that one-time payment, that affects your credit score. So that's why you should always have more than 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 accounts. Ideally, you should have 10 or 11 accounts that report to your credit bureau. We'll get to that later. So next up on the list that you always hear me talk about is 30%, your debt utilization. And what that is like I've given examples before, when you have $1,000 on a credit card and you have used $500 and you have a $500 balance or credit available, that means you have used 50% of your debt utilization, which now means that hurts your credit score. So you will not be able to more than likely have a 700 credit score. What's going to happen though is you might have like a 620, 630, but when you get under 29% or less, then your credit score will start rising. If you get under 9% or less, your credit score keeps rising. And now you add that with the payment history. Each month you can see where your score could go from 620 to 630, 630 to 635, and it just rises slowly as you gain payment history and as your debt utilization starts going down. Just so you know, you want to be between 5% and 7%. That's where you want to keep your debt utilization. That's optimal. If you want to go down to 3%, but you should always leave a little bit somewhere so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5%, 6%, 7%. That's where you want to actually ideally be. If you can't get that low, that's fine. You're still going to be good at 9% or less. Next up, that this is going to mean that between the payment history, your debt utilization, next up is 15% is your length of history. So that's 80% of your score. So just off the bat, you want 7 years or more average length of history. That means if I have a credit card and I've had it for 10 years, those of you who've been members and been here and watched the videos, you've heard this example before. You have 10 years, one card, 10 years. 10 years of history. All of a sudden, you say, well, hey, it's time for me to get a new credit card. So you apply, you get your credit card, but now your length of history has just been cut in half. It's now going to be considered 5 years, because between the 10-year history and this new card that is now going to be 1 month old, your average is only going to be 5 years. So this is why a lot of people, you need to get your credit cards going now, and this is also why you do not close credit cards after you've had them for a while. A lot of people say, well, I've had this card for 10, 15 years, and then they just go, I'll just tell the credit card company to close it out. Well, when you close out a credit card, that wipes that off the map. So let's use the example. If you had 10 years worth of history and you said, well, I don't want this card anymore, and then you said close it out, and then you applied for another credit card and you got a new credit card, your history, your length of history will now be 1 month. That 10-year card is not going to be counted. So this is why you do not close positive accounts that are 7 years or more in age. So just keep that in mind. That's 15% of your score. That's significant. So That's why you want as many cards as you can to be over 7 years. So when you're first starting out, not going to be that easy, but it's fine. You'll get there. So when you get 5, 6, 7, 8 cards that are 7 years plus, some are going to be 8, some are going to be 10, some are going to be 11, some 12. Once you start building that up, sure, that's 15% of your score, but that helps you get to that vaunted 800 that a lot of people are trying to get. That 750 score a lot of people are trying to get. You can get there. And in fact, you don't even need to have the 7-year average to get a 750 score, just so you know. But it helps in the long run. Just don't close out any cars that are over 7 years old as long as it has payment history, positive payment history. Next up, some things I rarely talk about. This is the fourth factor of how you increase your credit score, and that's 10% new credit. So you see here on the screen, new credit. So most people have a car loan, which is good. Some people will have a mortgage. That's a different type of credit. Car loan's another type of credit. A personal loan is a different type of credit. A self-lender loan is a different type of credit. All these are different credit mixes. You do a secured loan at your bank to get your credit going, meaning you put in $1,000 and then your bank says, okay, as long as you pay monthly, we'll report to the credit bureaus, and it's actually there already. So, there's different things you can do. Then when you get a credit card, that's another type of credit mix. When you get an Amex card, which is considered a charge card, that's another type of credit card mix. So all these little different things add up, and that's 10%. What does this mean for you? This means that you are a good steward of your credit. So this is how you get to a 700, 750, 775, 800 credit score, because now when they're looking at you, they're going to say, hey, this guy's got about 5 or 6 different types of credit, and he pays them all on time, and his debt utilization is low. Oh yeah, we can give him a loan, no problem. Some of you may ask yourselves, why do I only get like a $2,000 credit limit or a $1,000 credit limit when my credit score is 725 or 750? Oftentimes it's because you may only have 4 credit cards, no car loan, no mortgage, nothing else, and they just go, okay, you don't have really that much of a mix. So we see he pays his credit cards on time, but you might not get a higher limit because they don't see any other type of credit. They don't see a personal loan, they don't see a car loan, they don't see a mortgage. So these are the kind of things that they try to hold against you, but your score can still be great. It's just that a mix makes it much better, and that also allows you to improve your credit score. And the last type, 10%, types of credit used. So again, we're talking about types of credit, which is actually the fourth thing. That's what I was talking about. The 10% new credit is also kind of goes in with what I was talking about earlier is the 4, I should say 4.5, but we'll talk about 10% new credit, types of credit. It's almost the same thing. The new credit is opening up several different accounts in a short time, but if you do that, you're going to have inquiries. So that's going to reduce your credit score. So a lot of people will have a good credit score, then they'll apply for like 2 or 3 different loan options, whether it's a loan, it could be a car, it could be a credit card, it could be anything. Next thing you know, you have a 720 score, and now all of a sudden it's 690. And you're going, what happened? Well, you applied for 3 different things. You got a hard inquiry, and now a hard inquiry can reduce your score 2 points, 5 points, 10 points. You just never know how many points it will reduce it. And then the only way to make it up, of course, is once you start making payments, for the payment history starts making up for it, and then your score will get back, and it usually takes 2 to 3 months for your score to get back if you started doing 3 type of deals. And also, if you really want to know, you want to stay under, I can't believe that they penalize you, but for hard inquiries, you want to stay under 4 hard inquiries in a 2-year period. Now, that's not really realistic in today's society to only apply for 4 loan products or 4 credit cards or 4 things in 2 years. Some people will say, I'm going to get a car, for their spouse. Then they say, I'm going to get a car for myself. Then they say, I might get a car for my child. That could be 3 inquiries at 3 separate times in a 9-month period or a year. Then you say, I'm going to apply for 2 or 3 credit cards. Next thing you know, you're up to 7, 8, 9, 10 inquiries without even really doing anything. And the credit bureaus try to penalize you. You have to keep in mind, they're not in the business of helping you out. They're in the business of helping out the people that are giving out loans, the people that are giving out credit cards. They want to be able to charge you a higher interest rate. This is why they try to make it difficult for you when you have an error on your credit report and you're trying to get it removed. They don't want to get it removed because that way they'll be able to charge you more. Some of you people may have heard of friends and family who have interest rates on cars that are 20%, 23%, 27%. Interest rates on credit cards, 27%, 29%. This is significant. So keep in mind the power of 72. Whenever you do interest, and this applies for whether you're making money or if you have to pay money to somebody because you owe them money, you divide 72. You divide that number into 72, and that tells you how many years it's going to take you to pay that off generally. So if you're going to have 3, I can't use 3, but what I'll do is I'll say 10% interest. In order for you to double your money on an investment, it's going to take you 7 years and a few months. At the same time, 10% also means if I got $1,000 loan and they charge me 10%, that means I'm going to pay double in 7 years. So there's 2 ways you can look at the number of 72. It's either good for you or bad for you. As an investment, you want your to earn profits at a higher percentage. So if you know that you could earn 30% a year on your investments, that means you're going to double your money in 2.5 years. That's how you think of it. Now, if you're going to pay interest, that means you're going to pay double whatever you bought in 2.5 years. So that's how you look at the number 72. So anyhow, hopefully these 5 ways, these 5 factors, you guys understand what it takes to boost your credit score now. So now let's do it. And down below in the description, I'm going to have the usual Ox Publishing, Jewelers Club, Hutton Chase, the Discover Secured Card. What am I missing? New Coast Direct. All these are going to be down below in the description, because if you want to boost your credit score fast, this can get you your debt utilization, this can get your new credit 10%, this can get 10% for types of credit. It cannot help with any of the big ones. The amounts owed, your debt utilization, it can help with that, because New Coast Direct is 5,000, trade line, primary trade line. All these are primary trade lines I'm talking about. And also my Jewelers Club is 5,000. So those can get your debt utilization down real fast. And for all of you who may have need a higher trade line to reduce your debt utilization and get payment history and get length of history, you can do authorized user trade lines to bypass. And I do have authorized users, so you got to hit me up at eric@stopstrugglingnow.com. Send me an email. Some of you can call me, text me, and I'll send you a list of what you need, as long as you know what you need. If you don't know what you need, then when you send me an email, we'll go over what you may need. And oftentimes I tell everybody, sign up with Credit Karma, because at least on Credit Karma, they let you know what your debt utilization is, your payment history. They have all the buckets there, so there's no dispute on how you can improve your credit score. And also, if I need to log in to check out what it's showing you, then that allows me, you can give me your password, I'll log in. It doesn't hurt because there's not really anything you can do with Credit Karma. So that's just another little tip. And of course, you can always do a pay credit monitoring service. Credit Karma only does Vantage Score, but from what I've seen, the Vantage Score is almost close to your FICO score. It's not that far off. It's just for some people it may be off a lot, but for the majority of people, there's not much difference between when you go in from your Vantage Score on Credit Karma, Credit Sesame, and you roll in and try and buy cars, mortgages, things like that. In my instances, it's always been the FICO score has been higher than the Vantage Score. But I don't know why that is, but that's what it is. So again, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support, because we got over 3,000 subscribers. I can't believe it. We just started about a year, and let's call it a year and a half ago. And I want to thank everybody for your support. And don't forget, we have podcasts. What I'm doing is I'm uploading the videos into podcasts, so now a person doesn't have to watch the video, but they can listen wherever they're at. And it's on the Apple, the Spotify, the iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and a few others, because once it's on a few, then they add it organically to other places. So I don't know where all the places that it's at, but those are the main places right there that you can just listen to anything that's uploaded on the podcast, and it's under Stop Struggling Now. Nothing's under my name. It's all under Stop Struggling Now. So again, thank you everybody. So please like, subscribe, and click the bell below so you get the latest updates. And you know it's hard out here, so we're going to continue the theme, the No Guru Zone. It's hard. How do you make money? How do you make extra money? Well, in today's environment, you're going to have to get busy. I'm going to have to just say, you're going to have to start looking to improve yourself. That means social media marketing. If you have products to sell, if you have services to sell, if you don't have anything to sell, but you're looking for a company and you want to join a company and become a marketer and refer people, called referral marketing. If you want to do Amazon, FBA as they call it, or drop shipping, no matter what you want to do, you're going to have to market it to the masses. So you're going to have to familiarize yourself with the Facebook, with the Instagram, with the Snapchat, with the TikTok, with the LinkedIn. You're going to have to be on all these platforms, because not everybody is on YouTube. Not everybody's on Facebook. Not everybody is on Snapchat. Not everybody's on any format. People across the world are on all different formats. Some aren't even on none of our formats. So if you lived over in Asia, you might be in WeChat and some other things that we don't even have over here, or we don't usually use. So just keep all that in mind. This is Stop Struggling Now. And keep your head up. Keep moving. And I'm out.